Hi, folks. Mel Bustler, Rob Crone. This is our weekly look at the upcoming football weekend, both high school. Maybe we'll even talk a little college, too. Let's begin, Rob, with the big game coming up Friday night.
Indian River at Carthage, and that's going to be a battle of two running backs, Trevor Shawcross and Jeremiah Adamola Sadip. Both great running backs. Sadip, 457 yards rushing, and I believe 7 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, unbelievable. And as you can imagine, he will be my athlete of the week for Friday night. Coming off the performance he had was unbelievable. Problem for Carthage, I mean, Indian River has had their number lately. They've won the last 3 meetings between the two teams. What do you think the Comets' chances are coming up?
I think they're pretty good being at home. They're going to have the hometown crowd behind them. But whenever Carthage and Indian River play, both schools show up no matter where the game's at. Trevor Shawcross also going to be a problem for Carthage to stop. He had 187 yards rushing in his first game and his second game. Also scored 3 touchdowns last week. So I think it's going to be a battle of the defensive lines. Whoever can slow down the running games is probably going to have the edge in this contest.
Another big game coming up, one that I'll be shooting. You, of course, will be shooting the Indian River Carthage game. I'll be covering the General Brown game Friday night in Dexter against Bishop Ludden. What can you say about the Lions? They're always in the mix every year. I mean, they appear to be another strong unit.
Yeah, just when you think it's a rebuilding year for Doug Black, they come out and they play lights out, as they have this year. I mean, they started out beating Malone in week 1, 70-6. Then they beat Cazenovia 47-26 on the road last week. And, you know, for General Brown and Doug Black, it seems like they are a fixture in the Section 3 Class C championship game every year.
Yeah, I mean, they made it there last year. The year before, they were in state action, made it to the championship game in the New York State Final. Doug Black does a great job each and every year. And you know, another coach who's doing well is Aaron Rivers at South Jeff.
Yeah,
the Spartans once again this year.
Yeah, they're coming off a Section 3 Class B2 championship from last year, and this year they're picking up right where they left off. Beat Jamesville DeWitt 47-14 at home last week, and you know, for the South Jeff Spartans, another case of where it's not, you know, rebuilding, it's reloading this year, and they look pretty good, and they look like they have a pretty good shot at defending their Class B2 title.
Yeah, and Braden Mix playing a very good quarterback for the Spartans. And they're loaded. They got the Pittock kid at wide
Robert
receiver.
Pittock,
who's impressive, can catch the ball.
Multi-sport athlete, plays basketball as well.
Unbelievable. I'm not sure if he's as good an athlete as his father was at South Jeff.
Or Jackie, his sister.
Yeah, or Jag, yeah. But they're doing well, and once again, congratulations to Aaron Rivers, who's putting together another impressive unit with the Spartans at South Jeff.
Absolutely.
Other games coming up. How about Lowville hosting Cazenovia? Lowville's an interesting team. They scored 2 points
against Beaver River.
Against Beaver River, and then they come back and win their game last week. So we're expecting more from the Red Raiders this week. Hopefully they'll surprise Caz a little bit.
Yeah, and always a strong team at Lowville for the Red Raiders. You know, they're always in the mix for a Class C championship. This year's going to be no different as well.
Pretty good matchup in Beaver Falls coming up on Saturday. Beaver River hosting Sandy Creek. Your thoughts about that matchup?
And that's one that I will be at. It's a 1 o'clock start. Beaver River losing last Friday night. Sandy Creek winning. I think the winner of this game is going to battle Dolgeville for the Section 3 Class D championship. Dolgeville, one of those teams that's always a perennial power in Class D, no different this year. And I think the winner of that contest will move on and probably be the number 2 seed in the Class D playoffs. I like Sandy Creek in this one. I think Sandy Creek, they still have a strong nucleus. They have Hudson Hunt at quarterback, and they have Logan Lando at running back, wide receiver. They have a pretty good offense. I think Beaver River's still trying to figure out some things on the offensive end, so I think Sandy Creek has the edge in this one.
And let's not forget 8-man football, Morrisville-Eaton visiting Thousand Islands. That game coming up Friday night at TI. And Saturday, we've got South Louis hosting Bishop Grimes. So 8-man football, very exciting to watch. Lots of scoring, wide open game.
Yeah, and last week Thousand Islands with a come-from-behind victory over South Louis. I believe it was 26-20 in that game, so South Louis will be looking for their first win. Thousand Islands will be looking to build off that win against South Louis and making it 2 in a row.
Let's check out the NAC. How about Potsdam hosting St. Lawrence Central?
We were talking before you came in and mentioned
We
it.
are. Ian Van Wagner. I mean, this kid can do everything. I mean, is he a sophomore yet?
I think he's a sophomore or a junior, but on the golf course, on the basketball court, now on the football field, he's running the offense for the Potsdam Sandstoners, and they're off to a quick start. And with him at quarterback, anything's possible.
Also Friday night, OFA taking on Malone Messina at Beekmantown. Saturday, Governor visits Canton. And an 8-man football, Notre Dame out of Utica taking on Tupper Lake. It should be an interesting contest. Let's talk a little college football. What do you say? Syracuse getting the jump on the action Friday night under the big top. It's a nationally televised game on ESPN, 7:30 kickoff. It is Syracuse hosting the new ACC team in Stanford, making the trip all the way from the West Coast.
East meets West. And an interesting note in that game on Friday night, the 44-year anniversary to the day of the first ever game at the Carrier Dome.
Can I tell you a little story quickly?
You were there, right?
I was there opening night. At the time, I have 4 seats now. I used to own 3 seats. And it was the week after I got married. I got married on the 13th of September. It's the 20th of September. My brother can't go. I'm having trouble finding somebody to go to opening night at the Dome. I asked my wife to go and my mother. The three of us.
There you go.
There you go, right there.
And was Joe Morris running back?
Joe Morris was running back. Ike Bogosian from Messina was a defensive back for the Orange, also a co-captain. And everybody's pumped. Opening kickoff, Frank Maloney coaching the Orange. What's he do? An onside kick to begin the game. Everybody was so pumped up. Onside kick, the ball goes out of bounds.
He wanted to test the carpet out.
He wanted to test the carpet. Also, in college football this weekend, we have Western New England taking on St. Lawrence. That game Friday night. Your thoughts about the Saints?
Yeah, and the Saints, coming off a win last week. They lost in the opening week, lost to a top 20 team, but last week bounced back. They're 1-1 on the season. Another home game. I think the Saints are on the right track. Should be a good night for them at home in front of the hometown fans in Canton.
Well, that's it for us. If we pass the audition, we'll be back next week. Hey, enjoy the football. Plenty of action, especially that Indian River Carthage game in Carthage. You'll want to check out.
I think there are going to be a lot of points scored in that game.
Should be fun.